I want to bring in Chris Maddy, who is representing the 7 FBI agents in the case. He's a partner at Kossoff and Beater and a former federal prosecutor. Good to have you back on the show. Chris, when do you expect to hear back from the court on this, and how long could the temporary restraining order last?
Well, the court scheduled a hearing, Chris, for tomorrow at 10:30. That'll be our first opportunity to argue before a district judge that our temporary restraining order should be entered, and that request is to prohibit the Department of Justice from publicly disseminating the names of agents who participated in the January 6th investigations. We're hopeful that will be resolved tomorrow, that we will have an order, and then we can continue to pursue our case if necessary. This is the last place that we want it to be. It's kind of preposterous that federal agents should have to sue the government that they serve in order to protect themselves. But the actions of the acting leadership at the Justice Department in the days leading up to Monday, and then obviously the effort to identify every single agent who participated in that investigation, really left us no choice but to take measures to protect our agents.
Well, we're already seeing, as I understand it, some of the pardoned January 6th defendants or convicted January 6th offenders going online, including a post you referenced from Proud Boys founder Enrique Tarrio. Have any of your clients experienced problems, harassment as a result of this yet?
Well, we represent the FBI Agents Association, so that's some 14,000 members and current and former members of the FBI. And it is, in a sense, part of the job when you're in law enforcement to have to deal with dangerous people. But we shouldn't have to deal with being hung out to dry by our own government. And so what we are really hoping is that the new leadership at the Justice Department assures us, and hopefully that'll happen in court tomorrow. We would like nothing more than for the Department of Justice lawyers to come in tomorrow and say to the court that the Department of Justice is not going to be publicly identifying any agents, that there won't be any disciplinary proceedings other than the normal disciplinary proceedings, and we can move past this. But we are not going to allow agents of the FBI to be targeted and be the subjects of political retribution simply for having done their jobs.
I'm sure you know that the acting Deputy Attorney General, Emil Bovee, sent a memo to agents today, and it says that no FBI employee who follows orders and carried out their duties, quote, in an ethical manner with respect to those investigations is at risk of termination or other penalties. What's your message to the agents you represent in response to what Emil Bovee wrote?
Well, we're looking forward to hearing what the Department of Justice has to say in court tomorrow before a federal judge. I mean, I think that the email you reference may be a step forward. It certainly struck me as a response to our lawsuit. And if they come in tomorrow and say, of course, the Department of Justice doesn't intend to identify any agents publicly, of course, we're going to follow lawful channels for reviewing any agent's conduct, that'll make us very happy. But that representation is going to have to be made to a judge, and we expect that the judge would enter an order accordingly. That's what we're hoping for.
We just heard from Democrat Jamie Raskin. He, of course, was a member of the J6 Select Committee, and he expressed his concerns about the Trump administration's purge of DOJ officials and FBI agents. Let's listen.
So what's the message? Don't participate in the prosecution of any crimes that you might think Donald Trump approves of. Don't get caught enforcing the law in a way Donald Trump might not approve of.
You've said that an unlawful purge of FBI agents would be catastrophic to national security, and I wonder what you're hearing from the people inside the FBI, the level of concern and the conversations you're having.
Well, certainly, I mean, there's a high level of concern. I mean, filing for a temporary restraining order was really a last resort. I do think that the actions taken by the acting leadership of the Justice Department over the last few days was designed to have a chilling effect on law enforcement. It was designed to be intimidating. But what we hope now is that we can move past that and that the federal agents across the federal government who do their job every day, who have no political leanings one way or the other in how they perform their job, and who do that job honorably, can get back to work without fear of being targeted for political retribution. We think that that's not very much to ask, and we hope that the Justice Department will assure us of that in the morning.